you create a road like this to bypass a lot of existing communities, in fact, in this very hotel, so that you then relieve the congestion and you improve the economy at both the ends. But there's no doubt about it that by doing so, you destroy the economy in the middle. This road does nothing for the people who live around here. I mean, that's very clear. There'll be very few entrances and exits to it. It won't speed up journey times that you will make, but it'll make sure that no passing traffic comes through here. That none of the cafes and the shops and stuff where people might stop and spend a bit of money or even see some of the sights or whatever, they'll just speed from one end of the road to the other, bringing absolutely no benefits. A second thing about this sort of road is that inevitably it will cost more than expected. It's been priced at, as I understand, £800 million. And I've looked at some of the highways agency schemes in England, and double original estimates is quite common. Some of them are triple, and one of them I found, the A46 Newark to Winderpool, wherever that was, 62, originally priced at £82 million, eventually cost £500 million. And that's big schemes, big other, in terms of other transport infrastructure, like railway schemes and underground schemes. They often do cost double or something, but roads often cost a lot more than double the original estimate. It's inevitably likely to cost far more than the original estimates, and the original estimate is already a hell of a lot of money. I mean, if you think of it in terms of the population of Ireland, it's tens of pounds for every person, including both sides of the border. I mean, it's an extraordinary amount of money for one scheme that goes maybe from a capital city but to a not hugely populated area. I mean, it is quite an extraordinary amount of money. And then you get the point. The point behind these roads is always they're going to bring fantastic benefits. In fact, I've got a friend in Derry who I said I was speaking at this meeting. He said, "Oh, but I'm in favour of the road." And he said, "Well, why?" I said, "Well, I'll be able to get to Dublin quicker, and it'll bring benefits to Derry and so on." I'm very sceptical about that, because the research tends to suggest that there's a very mixed answer to that question. Like, if you have a relatively undeveloped area up here, and you have a kind of, a capital city or a big city down here, and if you connect up the two, there is no definite reason why resources necessarily will go from the capital city up to the poorer, less well-known area. It might be very much the other way around. The one bit of research I could find on this was the A55, which goes to Wales from Chester, and they built this in the early 90s, and then they looked at the economics effect of it, and it's quite a good comparison actually, because Gwynedd is quite similar. It's quite an isolated area in the corner of a country, like Donegal, and then the road linked it up with Chester, and then the kind of main network, and it did speed journeys up from about 5 hours to about 2.5 hours. So it kind of did make a big difference. But they looked at the businesses a year later, and they found that there was little new investment in Gwynedd, and and also that some local businesses had lost the benefit of the fact that things were inaccessible. So, in other words, some of the companies that already existed there thought, oh, well, now we can get our supplies from much further away, and there's more competition for getting our supplies. We'll get them from further away, and we'll save that amount of money because we can get them from further away, but we get them cheaper. So the local firms often lost out in supplying the bigger local firms because they could get access to things further away, and few companies really will base themselves in a place that's fairly far off just because there is a new road to there. I mean, I know John gave this good example to me, which I think the campaigners used, which is that the Celtic Tiger flourished at a time when actually a lot of the factories that were built were quite inaccessible. They weren't very good roads, and they built all these roads kind of south of the border. And look what's happened now. What's happened there today. So it's by no means a one-way process. Roads do not necessarily bring economic development. Now, that's actually true of railway lines as well. I mean, much as I really hope that this campaign does manage to get the railway line built instead of the road, but there is the same argument that we have a big debate in England about HS2 high-speed line between London and Birmingham and London and Manchester and Leeds. About whether it will regenerate Birmingham and Manchester and Leeds, or whether it will just make things kind of even more centralised than they are already. So it's by no means a definite positive thing to build a road. One thing we can be sure, though, is that road schemes rarely turn out as expected. As I say, forecasting the effect of transport schemes is a mug's game. And again, I looked at some research on this. The Highways Agency, which runs the National Roads Programme in the UK, looks at schemes after 5 years after they're completed. And it was almost completely random. If you plot it out on a graph, what they expect, which is kind of like that, some of the results were kind of up there, much more traffic than expected. Some of them were down there, much less traffic than expected. Some of them had induced a lot of traffic, which kind of really negates the point of building a road, because it attracts more people to just drive around, which is not something that is environmentally desirable. And other schemes were just white elephants because nobody actually used them.